Hello and welcome to Ditch Witch Diaries. We are back this week. We're doing the cleansing herbs and talking about cleansing. And this week we are back with two more herbs. So we're going to start off with Raven and her herb.
Yay. So mine is pretty short. It was hard to find much information on it, but that's okay. We got a couple stuff. We got I have two stories.
Ooh,
So we're going to talk about tea tree.
I love it. It's very
Okay.
cleansing.
It's very what?
Cleansing.
Ah, cleansing, yes. I thought you said clucky. I was like, what?
Clucky, no,
What's clucky?
cleansing.
Yes, very cleansing. Okay, so I'm trying to like position the videos. There we go. So, oh, I forgot to look up how to say it actually. So it's
Melaleuca.
Melaleuca alternifolia.
Alternifolia. Melaleuca alternifolia. Yes.
Nice. Gotta love those botanical names.
I
So
know. You just kind of have
it's
to know them or you don't know them, but I've heard
yeah,
Melaleuca before many times. So, yes.
it's yeah. They're too scientific for me. Tea tree,
I
I can
think we
remember though.
have these at my work, by the way. Like I think we have
Ah,
Melaleuca at my work. Like they are
interesting.
paperbarks. I know. They're
Yeah. So, it's the same family as the eucalyptus tree, which makes sense because both are native to Australia. I did a eucalyptus a while ago. That was like a good one. I liked talking about eucalyptus. And this is not to be confused with like actual tea plants because it's not a tea plant. We're going to talk about why it's called tea tree. But it's not like tea leaves. You're not getting like regular tea leaves from this plant. So native range is northeastern and like New South Wales, southeastern Queensland, Australia. It really does grow everywhere in Australia, but it's really concentrated in this like specific area.
nice.
Now, the indigenous people of Australia, which we'll talk about them quite a bit, but they called it kallara. And then other names include paperbark and snow in the summer because of the flowers, which you'll see a picture of the flowers coming up. So this is the flowers. So that's why it's called snow in the summer because it looks
I
like
love
there's
it.
tufts of snow. It's so pretty.
It is.
So the only parts that we really use are the leaves, really. So the leaves and the terminal branches, which are like the new, like thinner branches on the leaves or that the leaves attach to. So the leaves and the terminal branches are the most used parts by far. Now, the oil is the most used form of tea tree. Not a lot of people use the actual plant, but they use tea tree oil is relatively common. And it's like distilled from the leaves and the terminal branches as well. And we as humans don't really use the flowers at all, but there's a specific type of honey called tea tree honey where the oh, I always forget the term. What's the people who keep bees? Apiaries.
Apiary.
So
Yeah.
the apiaries will like put the bees like next to it like in tea tree within the like land where there's a lot of tea trees and they will pollinate the trees and they'll use the trees to make their honey. And so the honey is it's not necessarily rare, but it's because it's so specialized, it can be harder to find because it's super antibacterial because tea tree is, and we'll talk about that in the medicinal properties, but the honey is seen as like super, super like antibacterial squared because you have like the honey, which is antibacterial itself, plus the combination of the tea tree plant.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. So I have two stories. One is more general. They're both in the same like location. This one is the more general one. So long ago in the land of the Bundjalung, which is the Aboriginal like people of Australia, the land was full of rivers, forests, and hidden lagoons. The spirits saw that the people needed protection from sickness, so they gifted them a tea tree. The wind carried the tree's slender leaves into the waters where they floated and released their healing strength. When people bathed in these waters, these pools, their wounds closed more quickly, their skin was soothed, and their spirits felt lighter. It is said that the waters became sacred, watched over by the tea trees that leaned over the banks. People believe the spirits had placed the trees there as guardians so that all who entered the waters would be cleansed of both pain and darkness. To this day, some lakes and streams in Australia, tinged with brown from the leaves of the tea tree, are still thought of as natural healing baths, echoes of the spirit's gift.
I love that.
Love that.
Mhm.
I know, so
Love
cute.
that.
So good. I mean, I love anything with a good bath.
Exactly. A good bath story is right up your alley
Oh,
no matter what.
that's my thing. So then this story is called The Princess of Tea Tree. So long ago on the northeastern coast of what is now New South Wales, the Bundjalung lived among rivers, forests, and the sea. In those days, there was a young woman named Eelemani, a princess gifted with a deep connection to the spirit world. She could sense the whispers of the land and hear the guidance of the ancestors carried on the wind. One day, Eelemani was called to make a long journey through the wild bush. Though she was brave, she feared that the vastness of the land would swallow her, that she would lose her way and never return to her people. With humility, she turned to the divine powers of the land, the great spirits who guard country, and asked for help. The spirits placed in her hands a small pouch of seeds. Plant these as you walk, they told her. They will light the way home. So Elamani journeyed into the wild, and with each step, she pressed seeds into the earth. Where they fell, a new tree rose with uncanny speed, slender leaves reaching skyward, white bark gleaming as if touched by moonlight. By day, the leaves shimmered in the wind. By night, the pale trunks caught the silver glow of the moon, guiding her like a trail of stars across the land. The spirits had given her more than a marker for her path. They had given a healing gift. Elamani soon discovered that the leaves of the tree could be crushed to release a sharp, cleansing scent. When placed on wounds or in water, they eased pain, soothed the skin, and brought strength to the weary. When Elamani returned safely, her people saw the tree standing tall along her path and named them a sacred ally. The Bundjalung learned from her how to use the leaves for medicine, how the smoke could purify, and how the shimmering bark could remind them of safe return and protection. Thus, the tea tree was rooted in the land, not only as a plant of healing, but as a guide in darkness, a reminder that the spirits walk beside those who journey into the unknown.
I love that story.
That's a
That's a
great one, too.
great story. I know.
Yeah. We love alimony.
Mhm.
Okay, so medicinally, it is a broad spectrum antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, antiparasitic, and anti-inflammatory. And all of these are from the active compound terpenin, floral, I don't know, that compound though. And I list on my sources, I remembered my sources slide, where I got this from. There's one study that's basically a meta-analysis of tea tree, and so they look at all of like the potential properties and they test them out. So topical applications usually used in creams, ointments, shampoos, because it's really good for dandruff, cleaning products, and then household uses, well, I said cleaning products, but like natural cleaner and insect repellent.
Nice.
Now, there are a couple of different like historical medical uses. So the Aboriginal medicine is where we start to see this first really like discussed and used. So they crush the leaves to inhale the vapors. So instead of burning it, they didn't burn it. They crushed it and ground it and inhaled that. And sometimes we'll talk about like steam use. Um, not that's not to say they didn't burn it, but all of the like historical uses I could find was about the crushing rather.
Nice.
Um, yeah, which is pretty rad. And then the leaves were applied as poultices on wounds, burns, insect bites. And then infusions were made from the leaves for sore throats, skin infections. I'm gonna tie onto that on the next slide as well. So then we have the European settlers come to the land of Australia, essentially. So they adopted the Aboriginal practices in the 18th and 19th century, and we have this famous captain, Captain James Cook, who loved the tea tree. He really loved tea. I mean, European. So he drank a lot of tea and he couldn't really find any tea leaves in the land where he was. And so he found that the indigenous people were drinking infusions made of the leaves. And so he was like, okay, well, it's a warm beverage made with some plant. Let me use this. And so he still called it tea. Let me just steal this. He, I know.
St.
So,
John's wort. That's all I'm gonna
St.
say.
John's Wort. Yeah, exactly. Jeez,
Do some
exactly.
cockamamie thing, and it's your name
Yeah. And
forever.
then completely rename it. Yeah, of course. So he is making an infusion, obviously, but because he was drinking it as if it was tea, he called it the tea tree plant. And so that's how it became known as tea tree.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Then we have World War II. So Australian soldiers were issued tea tree oil in their first aid kits as antiseptic, which I think is pretty cool. And it became known as first aid in battle. So sometimes, especially the oil, the plant itself, I don't find anybody's actually calling it this, but tea tree oil is oftentimes referred to as first aid or first aid in battle. Now, I do want to say ingestion of the oil is toxic for pets and children, and if you ingest too much of it, it can be potentially toxic for adults. And the studies that I found say that about 3 teaspoons of the plant is considered toxic. So if you want to ingest this, first of all, do it at your own risk because again, we're not doctors, blah, 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 all that good stuff. But just a pinch. You just need like a little bit and don't do it regularly. Do it for like acute illness, right? Like I woke up with a sore throat and so I'm just gonna put like a pinch in there. Usually when people are using it, it's topically, poultices, things like that. But if you want to consume it, just a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah. So, uses like magically. So, oil is most commonly used in practices. So, you can put it in baths. You can use it to wipe down magical things like tools and places, cleansing doorways. You could put it a little bit like on a rag or something and wipe down doorways. You could put it in floor washes or kind of drop it in healing sachets. But again, you don't want to put it where like your pet is going to lick, right? If you have a pet, who tends to lick, then I would wipe down like the top of the doorway, right? Not where they
Yeah.
come licking. Same with kids, because kids put their mouth on everything. And then
Sorry.
so then the leaves, if you want to use the leaves, you can burn it. And you can I haven't burned the leaves, but I thought like it would be kind of cool to burn it like after shadow work or some type of
Ooh.
like heavy workings where you want to like, okay, I did that work. I need to air this place out. And so then you can burn some leaves for kind of cleansing that way. Putting the leaves themselves in sachets, steaming it, so like crushing it, and then you could put it in like a vaporizer, or you could put it in hot water and then like, inhale the hot water or use it as so. Um, yeah, so you can like use the steam to cleanse the space. I kind of like that idea. Or obviously like you can use them in poultices, especially I mean healing poultices, but this all of this specifically is for like magical things. And so you can do a magical poultice, right? Like to, I don't know, like heal some type of like internal wound or something potentially.
Yeah.
So,
Cleanse your
yeah.
heart of some fool.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Or to help like I mean, this is just off the top of my head, but to help like heal, yeah, but like closing, because sometimes you can put a poultice on like an open wound to help it
Yeah.
close, right? And so
Uh-huh.
like if I am feel like my heart was ripped open, then I could
Yeah.
like put a poultice on my heart.
Exactly.
Um, and that's it. So those are my sources. This Science Direct one is the like scholarly one that talked about the poisoning and stuff and the medicinal properties.
Nice. That's
Cool.
rad. I love it. Thank you so much
That's
for
it
sharing
for
all that
me
great stuff.
and you. Yeah.
I'm excited about learning about tea tree and I think it's like it's obviously cleansing. So it's interesting
Yeah.
that there's not more magically about things that are so like clearly cleansing herbs, you know?
Yeah.
I would like to
Yeah,
go
it's
back
so weird.
through
I went
my
through
books
all
and
of,
see if there's anything
yeah, I went
right
through,
out
I
of them.
mean,
You have a ton
you
though.
definitely have more herbal books than I do. I think I have like seven of them, and it wasn't in any
Hmm,
of them, like none. It was so
interesting.
strange. Yeah. I thought for sure that it would be in like Grieve, but
It wasn't even in Grieve?
no.
Wow.
I
Well,
know.
Western
Strange.
herbalism. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Anyway,
There it is.
there it is. You can be the first. You can
Yes.
chart a course through magical herbalism using tea tree for cleansing.
Perfect.
Yes. So, we're excited that you've joined us for tea tree, and we will see you at the next Ditch Witch Diaries.